Hello friends and welcome back to Cassie Elle Talks. Today we're taking a look at a 2 to 4 player game in which players are attempting to be the first to complete their contracts that require them to get art for specific artists, and the first to get 4 genuine paintings in their gallery is the winner. The game is called Dodgy Dealers from Big Man Murph. In Dodgy Dealers, players have a contract and they are art dealers who go to the black market to get paintings to fulfill their contracts. However, we know the black market doesn't always have genuine art in it, so players are competing to be the first to get 4 genuine art pieces in their gallery and to try to avoid having any forgery paintings in their gallery. Let's go take a look and see if we're good at being shady in Dodgy Dealers. Welcome to Dodgy Dealers. In the beginning of the game, players are given at random a contract card which shares the name of an artist whose works they are trying to collect. In a basic game, you will have 4 contracts: Van Gogh, Claude Monet, John Singer Sargent, and Edvard Munch. The Kickstarter is also going to have some stretch goals and add-ons that will have additional artists you can add to the game, such as this one, Johannes Vermeer. Adding additional artists will allow you to add additional players to the game. Each artist comes with a set of 18 cards, 6 genuine paintings, and 12 fake paintings, 2 copies of each genuine painting. All the paintings are shuffled and make up this deck here called the Black Market deck. Each player at the beginning of the game is given 5 random cards dealt to them from the Black Market deck. The cards are kept face down in each area in front of each player, and that area is called the player's gallery. The gallery is where players will have to have 4 genuine paintings in order to win the game. On a player's turn, they can choose to keep their gallery as is and do nothing. They can choose to go on a heist later in the round and steal an opponent's card from their gallery, or they can choose to swap out a card in their gallery. If they choose to swap out a card from their gallery, they can draw a card from this deck, the Black Market deck. They can also choose from one of these cards here in this area here, which is the Black Market, or they can choose to take a card from one of these other piles. In the beginning of the game, these piles don't exist yet, so I've put some sleeves here just to show the areas. This sleeve represents the round's discard pile, and at the start of a new round, these cards that are in the market are added to the discard pile, and this pile is moved into this area called storage. When the next round ends, the storage is moved into this area called shipping. And when the next round shifts things around, this area is moved into this area, which is out of play. When a player chooses to draw a card, they can choose to draw from one of these 2 piles, storage or shipping, but they cannot draw from the already existing discard pile or from the cards that make it to the out of play pile. The out of play pile is eventually shuffled up and it turns into the Black Market deck only if the Black Market deck runs out of cards. The active player may also choose to rearrange the cards in their gallery before they take a card from any of these legal areas or after they take a card. If a player does rearrange their gallery, they can only take 1 card per hand. Once all players have chosen what they want to do with their galleries, the next phase begins, which is the trading phase. And the trading phase is actually a really relaxed phase. Trades happen simultaneously among players, are always 1 card for 1 card, but players can trade the cards face down, they can trade them face up, they can hide the seal of authenticity. Players can even trade contract cards if they want to. After the trade phase happens, players enter the heist phase. If any players had decided to do nothing during their turn with their gallery and decided instead they wanted to go on a heist, these players would now go on the heist. First, a player chooses a card from the gallery that they want to discard. They then choose the card from an opponent's gallery that they want to steal. Once the card's been stolen, the player who is engaging in the heist removes their cards from the table and they don't participate in the next round. But because they don't have their cards out, players can't steal anything from their gallery. The heist is now over and players move into the next phase. All players will then check their galleries and see if they have 4 genuine paintings that their contract requires. If they do, the game would end. If no one has 4 genuine paintings, then the next start player would go ahead and begin their turn. The player whose card was stolen during the last round's heist, when it gets back to their turn, they get to first fill in the space for the card that was stolen, and then they get to take their normal turn as usual. Once a player has the 4 genuine paintings they need for their contract, the game ends. If a player at that point has 5 genuine paintings that their contract requires, they earn 15 points. If a player has the minimum required 4 genuine paintings, they would earn 10 points. If a player has 3 or less genuine paintings by their artist, they earn 2 points for each painting. For each painting a player has that is genuine but is not by their contracted artist, they still earn a point. And if any players have a false painting in their gallery, they actually lose 1 point. And that's Dodgy Dealers. So that was Dodgy Dealers. Some of the mechanics and actions I used, some of them I just didn't find myself using too often, but that was just my preference. I really like the secrecy and the deceit in the game. I like that players can confuse their opponents by swapping cards in their gallery, and players can also choose to do really deceitful things like discard genuine paintings from their gallery, only to later pick them back up from these discarded piles in a few rounds later. I also really liked the heist phase because I felt like it had a bunch of different levels going on with it. We would not only get to steal a card from an opponent, but you also get to take your cards off the table and hide them from your opponents for a round. And while you don't get to add any more new cards to your gallery, just being able to hide your cards from being stolen, I think, is a really important thing in this game. I didn't get involved in the trade phase too often, but that's just because I don't trust any of my opponents. I like Dodgy Dealers. I think it's a really cool filler game. I liked that it starts 2 to 4 players, and I think it's also really cool that you can do extra add-ons though if you want to have up to 12 players. I don't know if playing up to 12 players would be fun. It sounds like it would take a long time, and I think that people would just get tired of it, but it is an option, and I think that's a cool way to expand the game. Dodgy Dealers is currently on Kickstarter, and if you want to see more information about the game, you can check it out down below, as well as check out the Kickstarter down below. If you like this video and you'd like to see more of my videos, please like, share, and subscribe, and you can also see me on the IndieGameReport.com. Thanks for watching. That's Cassie Elle signing out with Dodgy Dealers from Big Man Murph.